Going to be looking at how to use ads on the Baptist Message website. Typically you'll be going to baptistmessage.com to be able to view such things. Today we're going to be looking at the test site, and so we're going to a different address. When we load the website, then we have a pop-up ad that comes up right away. It says sample ad, a pop-up, and this is just so we can see how it works. This ad is 750 pixels by 438 pixels. To get out of this, you simply click X. We also have an ad on the right side, and this ad is 319 by 628 pixels. And down here at the bottom then we have three ads that are each 400 by 193 pixels, and I will send those numbers to you in an email as well so that you know what you're doing, but now you know where they are. Anytime you make a change to the website, you go to the dashboard. Once we get into the dashboard here, we're going to start off by looking at pop-ups. We already have one pop-up made called sample pop-up. We're going to add a new one. And this is not the name that will be displayed on the site. You're not going to have any text from this displayed on the site, but we will go ahead and name it, and we will say sample ad 2. And we can add text in here, we can do a subhead in here. That's not how we're going to normally be approaching it though. That's not how we're using this. You could build it directly through this, but you're going to be better off building it as a graphic. It's more predictable. And so what we're going to be doing is forming a graphic that is the size we'd indicated earlier, 750 by 438. You can use Photoshop or of course whatever else you want, but that's probably what you'll be using. So we have a new sample ad set up here, and it's already at our right size. When we go to save these things, now the default in Photoshop of course is to go at the 100 quality for JPEG, and that's going to be a sizable file, and that's not really what you want. It will work if you have people that have decent internet connections, it's fine. Sometimes you're going to have people in more rural areas that don't have such good internet connections, and you can always look down here and test it out on a typical internet connection. You don't want to have a file size this big for something this simple. So in this case, because it's only 2 tones, we know it's a very simple image, we can just run it as a GIF at 8 colors, and we're fine. So we want to get that as small as possible. If you're needing to run it as a JPEG, which you will if you have images, and many times that's what you're going to need to do, go down as low, go low way down here, and then you see it looks bad right now. Just keep on jumping up the quality until you don't notice any problems anymore. And so we can say, well, somewhere around here, then it starts to look just about as good as it does at 100. And then we can cut our file size in half. In this case, of course, we're going with the lower file size yet, only 10K. That's great. It says 1 second at 1 megabit per second, but it'll be even faster than that. Go ahead and save this, and we'll call this sample ad 2. Come on here. Now there's this feature over here to add an image over here. I have not had good luck with that. What I've had far better luck doing is clicking over here, add media, and then we go to where we saved it, and we add the file, and we want to have that be full size, and we click insert. Now down here we have a lot of options. Some of these options are only available in the Pro version. You're welcome to upgrade to that. It's not very expensive. I don't remember exactly, $20-something I believe, but I could be wrong on that. What we have here though is still enough, and it gives us enough of the options that we want. You can change how long it takes for it to appear. You don't always necessarily want it to load the instant that someone comes on there. That makes them more likely to click out of it right away. It also can get in the way of the load time for the page. So instead you might say that we want it to be 5 seconds in, and then if you had the Pro version, you can make it so that it appears once you have scrolled down a little ways into the page, or some other options there as well. You can give people the option of saying we never want to see a pop-up ad again. That's probably not what you want to do in your case, because you're trying to sell advertisers on this, and that could make it difficult to tell them how much they would actually get out of it. You don't really want to change it into a custom size. That's not what we're doing here. And then we can say allow page to be scrolled while pop-up is visible or not. It doesn't make too much of a difference. We'll go ahead and click it for right now. These are all sorts of options you could have if you had the Pro version to make it do exciting ways of coming in or going out. down here, this is the part that's probably the most important. You have these options of when to have it show, and there's all these different conditions that you can have. So you can say we only want it for people who are subscribers. We could say we only want those people to see it. We could say we only want people who are not subscribers to see it. We can say that we only want it to be shown if they have seen it less than this number of times. And so in other words, we don't want it to be if they visit the site 10 times a month that every time they get the same ad. That might get annoying. So you might be better off saying we want it to be that we can see it once or twice or 5 times, whatever we want. We can say it however we want on that. You can make it so that it only shows up on mobile devices, or you can say we don't want it to show up on mobile devices, whichever is your preference. You can make it so that it only comes from a specific URL. In our case, we've done that sometimes from our state convention website. Then we have certain ads we want to target toward those people, and so we don't show it to everyone, only those who are coming from that website. There are other reasons you might do it as well. It's an option you have. Or you could say you never want to show it if they're coming from a certain place, or you don't want to show it when they are coming from an internal link or from a search engine. You could say that you only want to do it when it's search engine people or in a specific place. And so if you only want it to show up on one page or one post within your website, you can do that. And you just simply type in the URL right here, and then it will take care of that for you. You can set it with commented or never commented. That probably won't apply for you because you're going to be using Facebook comments, and so then that wouldn't be relevant for the way that you're doing things. Those are all the different options we have there. Over here, then we can have a button that we can add. We're not going to add that right now, but you could add a button that has an extra link beneath it. We're just going to have the graphic be what we are linking to. Now once we are on here, then you can click this little edit button and you can decide where it's going to go to. Right now it's clicking to go to the media file, but we want to go to a different URL. So we're going to say that we want to go to google.com. So we update it. Everything seems to be right, and we want to preview the pop-up, and it doesn't look quite right because we have parts of our styling that are not going to show up in this part right here, but they will look just perfect once it is on the Baptist Message website. So we're going to click Save. You don't want to have more than one pop-up that is active at a time. Actually, I don't know if we ever made that one active. I don't think we did. You also need to, in addition to saving, you have to click Active. Now we save it as active. And we will go into our old one and say that we don't want it to be active anymore. And I guess it does that automatically, it turns out. Wonderful. So you can only have one active at a time, or at least one active that is applying to the same page. Now we are here and we click that to wait 5 seconds, and so it will take 5 seconds, and now it pops up, new sample ad. It worked beautifully. If we click on it, then it will go to google.com. And it will show up as many times as we come back because we didn't make any changes to that part of the settings. And so it will once again pop up, new sample ad. It has this little function where when you go over it, it gets a little brighter, just to bring a little excitement to the page. Now, if you want to add anything to those other sections, let's go to the footer right now. And this is under each one of these, footer 1, footer 2, footer 3, and those go in order. And you probably want to add the ads in that order. So if you only have one ad, you can put it in footer 1. If you have 2, put it in 1 and 2. If you have 3, put it in all 3. We already have some images set up in here right now. We're going to go ahead and delete it so we can go through the whole process, just in case you don't just want to change out the image. You go over here, it says image. Drag it over, drop it in. Didn't go for some reason. There we go. Yeah, we only have one in there. Okay, good. Now, we don't have an image ready yet. We're going to go back into the same image that we already had, and we're going to say that we want to make this the right size. And so it's 400 by 193. We need to make that work for us. And so we're going to take the same content that we already had and then just adjust it a little to be able to work for what we're doing now. And there's our sample ads for the bottom. we're going to click Save As. We can do the same thing as last time. And, Save for Web is what we're doing. My mistake. Save As, but we don't want that to be 750. Now we want it to be the right size for the bottom, which is 400 by 193. And that looks correct. Everything looks great. It's only 4K for this because it's a very simple ad. Yours will be a little larger than this. Sample ad 2, and then we'll just say footer. We go back in here, and then that's been saved now, and so then we go in, upload our file, and again we are sure to update the image, okay, and then we can choose what size we want here, but we're going to be going with full size. And for a link, then we will once again go to google.com. Say we want it to open in a new window. We're not going to add any text, although we could. We could put whatever we want underneath it in addition to the graphic. And by the way, don't worry about this widget logic stuff. It only applies to one special scenario, and you don't ever need to worry about that scenario. So don't ever put anything in there. You click Save. Now, before we had these 3 pink ones, we're going to refresh, and we have our new red one down here. And of course now we're going to have our pop-up come as well. And they are all going to the same place. And the last thing, we need to look at the ad on the side. And that's under here on the primary sidebar. And you could put it anywhere you want along here. Typically you're going to want to put it on the top, but you could put an unlimited number of ads on that side, really, if you want to. So we'll just add another ad down here, and we're going to place it here. And our size for this is going to be 319 by 628. And we will adjust this so that we can make it work for what we're doing now. And we're just going to make this squish for the sake of time. This is our new sample ad for over there. Save it for the web. Sample ad right. Go back in here, choose our image, upload. It's the same process over and over again. And make sure you're spending plenty of time doing it. That'll become second nature, no big deal. Update. We're going to make this one go to google.com as well. Open it in a new window. We're going to save it. And we have our typical ad that we have up here, but we added this one down the way. You see it's a little bit too small, right? Well, that was my mistake. Saved it as the wrong size when I came into here. And so I went to the wrong size, but save it as the right size and everything will turn out beautifully and everything will be good. That's how you use the ads on here. If you have any questions, feel free to email us anytime. You can email David at megaphonedesigns.com or Kenny at megaphonedesigns.com and we will help you out.